Oh, there's some of you joining me already. Awesome. Just getting things underway for those of you who are here. I'm just getting set up. Hi, Penny. You're muted.
Hi, Pat.
There you go. Hi. How's life in your world?
It's getting better.
Good.
Yeah, getting better.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
Well, sales have increased tremendously. A lot more work, more income, which is fabulous.
That's great news.
Yeah.
We like that kind of work. That
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The other thing is John and I care for his disabled brother.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't had respite since November. So now I have, as of last week, have 1 week every month starting June straight through to October of next year. So it's huge. That's huge.
That is huge. That's huge.
That's
wow.
So our first weekend last week, and so we went away for the weekend and slept and rested and read. And
yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Hey, Donna Erickson.
Hey.
There you are. Hi.
Sorry, she heard that. She doesn't hear most things these days, but she heard that.
You know, they're just like 2-year-olds, honest to goodness.
Oh, my, I know. I had her quietly on the couch, right? Happily on the couch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's funny.
Thank God you didn't start that recording yet.
Oh, yeah, it's recording, but Cheryl edits.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, the minute I'm on, Cheryl just takes charge and fixes everything up. It's all fabulous. Yeah. How's life in Edmonton?
Well, I personally think it's great. It is raining to beat the band today.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Yeah, which is good because yesterday was 28 degrees.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Where did I go?
You're there.
What did I do? Oh,
I still see you. Yeah, there's Susan Binney. She's joining us.
I don't know where I went.
You're still there, Donna.
Oh, well, I can't see you guys.
Oh, well, I can see you.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
All right, there you go.
I'm good.
Donna Clark. This is super duper. I'm just checking the Facebook forum to see if there's any notes or questions or challenges, or struggles. I know. All right, I don't see any other questions in there.
Nope, 3 of us looks like.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, that's great. That's perfect. All right. Oh, and Katie, who's on her horrible vacation. Worst vacation ever. Hashtag. That's fabulous. Okay, well, let's get started because the time is passing here. I'll make sure I got my questions in front of me. So if any of you have dogs, kids, unruly spouses, anyone else around that may be a challenge on the recording, you might just want to mute yourself, but I think for now we're good to go. So just for the purpose of the recording, it's Wednesday and it is May 24th. Oh my gosh, May 24th. And it's the monthly group call for the Mavericks, and I'm Pat, your host, and so delighted and excited that you're here and ready to just hop right on in. There's Lisa McDonald. This is great. I've missed you guys, but I know many of you were following me on the road, which is always fun. Somebody else has just joined in. Don't know who that is. It's a phone, but that's perfect. So let's get going. I want to hear a few of your celebrations, and I want to put that in context. Not necessarily the wealth part or the money part, although, you know, Penny, as you and I were talking about, that's certainly an important piece of it. And I had my coaching calls with the young ladies in South Africa earlier this morning who are just knocking it out of the park. Oh my gosh, I'm just so proud of them. And unfortunately, it's late for them right now, so they're not on the call, but I'm sure they'll be listening to the recording. So let's share what's going on. You talk, I'm going to drink from my South African teacup. Isn't it pretty?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. All right, take it away.
Seeing as how I started talking and saying it was gorgeous, I just want to say hello, everyone. And Pat, thank you so much for sharing your trip with us.
You're welcome.
It was fabulous. And I have decided that I'm going to live vicariously through you. And when I'm on those trips to a friend place where I'm doing a 3-day workshop trying to learn lots, I get off of that and then look for your pictures and go, yay, I'm now with Pat. So
yeah, and here's the thing, Susan. Most of you don't know, some of you do, and certainly the people I was with know that what gets posted is intentional. And it's intentional, like there are certain people or reasons attached to every picture that goes up or every video that I do. It's all very intentional. Now, I have 5,000 pictures because I take pictures all the time. I have a lot of photos, but it's all very intentional, Susan. So I'm glad you brought up the trip because I do want to talk about that today. And I want to talk about, I want you to feel, all of you to feel comfortable asking me anything about any aspect of that trip. Because again, the whole trip was intentional and strategic. The photos and the posts and the videos were very strategic. And I want to help you get in my head and understand how that impacts the public, your prospects, your current clients, and even your own dreams and your own thoughts around what's possible. What do you want? How do we make this work? How do I make it work? So feel free, once we do the celebrations, be thinking about this. And I'm an open book. Ask me anything.
excellent. That's wonderful. So my biggest celebration is that I went to this 3-day workshop. I have 99% of my marketing copy finished for my upcoming program on June.
Beautiful.
And I found inner peace, and it's amazing. I didn't even know what inner peace was, but I discovered it, and I'm stepping into my greatness. And I feel wonderful, amazing, and so glad to be here.
Super. Glad you're here too, and glad you're feeling better. There's been bugs going around. Hey, there's the other world traveler there. We can finally see her picture. Hashtag looking comfortable. Okay, who else? Let's hear yourself. Take yourself off mute too, Katie. We're all just talking. Lisa McDonald, take yourself off there. Unless, like I said, you have dogs or unruly partners.
It's my parents are trying to sell their house, so they're staging it, and we've got people coming to see it today, so it's house cleaning. So I'm going to stay on mute.
Okay. Okay, good. But I loved your photo, your climbing photo.
Thank you.
Seriously. And, as I was saying again at the top of this call, that some of the photos we post, you really never know how that resonates with somebody out there. And here's the interesting thing. I'm going down a bit of a rabbit trail, but it is about the meeting that I had in Seattle. And that was around May 3rd or May 4th. I can't remember the dates. Somewhere along the trek. In Seattle with Leslie Bohm. Some of you might have heard of her. She's a world-renowned photographer, absolutely incredible in her industry, and has done a lot of my professional photos. She's based in Los Angeles. And it turned out, as we were putting my trip together, that I said to her, I'm going to be in Santa Rosa, California. How far is it to LA? Is there any way we can connect? So I'm always reaching out to my colleagues and saying, is there any way we can connect? And she said, well, not really then, because I'm going to be in Seattle. I said, oh, well, wait a minute. I'm going to be in Seattle. When are you in Seattle? And it worked out. It was her birthday. Here's the beautiful thing, Katie. Here's the reason I'm mentioning this. Leslie is world-renowned for her professional photos, her industry photos. She's very well known, and I covet this experience in the world of entertainment. She does all the professional shots for all of the Young and the Restless stars. She knows I love Eric Braeden. So anyway, we're having lunch and we're talking about trends in the industry. And we're talking about the fact that most people, they're all zigging at the same time. And things are changing. You've got to learn, pay attention, keep your ground to the ear, and figure out when you're going to zag when everybody's still zigging. And some of the ziggers are at the tail end of prime time. So Leslie and I were talking about that because now she's shifting, she's zagging, and she's moving on into what's called lifestyle photography. And Katie, the reason I mention this is because prospects and clients in this day and age, with the age of technology and infobesity, they want to know who you are. Who are you really? And so her focus on photography right now is going to be about lifestyle, authenticity, transparency, genuineness. Who are you? And so while we had that lunch, she brought her super duper camera and took a lot of lifestyle photos of me. I'm going to post some of them in the forum once we have them finalized. She took like hundreds and wanted to capture me. And this was not set up. She just asked me on the spot because she wants pictures for her marketing portfolio. And she said, people want to know, who are you? And so that goes back to my comment, Susan Binney, about the fact that when I'm on the road, certain photos go up to show who I am really. It's not always about the gloss and the glamour and the glitter. Sometimes it's about the blood, sweat, and the tears of what it takes to grow a business, maintain a business, have a sustainable business, and have a life too. So Katie, that one picture for you is worth 1,000 words. And so I would take a few more of those with you in it and start to build a portfolio. That's where I was going with all of that. All right, who else?
Sure, yeah. Oh, that's cute.
Yep, be on the leading edge. We're cutting edge. That's what I love. Penny, go ahead.
I just wanted to share with everyone, like I did with you, Pat, some celebrations. One was last week was the biggest income between my husband and I in months and months and months.
You rock star, you.
Yeah, we have a long way to go, but it's all in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And another big mountain that was moved was that my husband and I care for his disabled brother, who has a brain injury for the last 32 years. And so we now have respite booked 1 week out of every single month from now until October of 2017. And there's others coming on. So that is like a 50-pound weight off the shoulders. So
yeah,
a lot more celebration and time together with my husband and freedom to work and do more work.
Yeah, and the key now to maximizing that freedom opportunity, again, as you all know, and I talk about, it starts with your health.
Yes.
It starts with your health. If you were able to see that video, the Facebook Live I did with my 93-year-old mentor, oh my gosh, the lessons I learned from her. And I'm going to share those as we move through the call. I want to share with all of you what I learned from the Leslies, from my mentors and so on. Really key lessons that I paid attention to and took lots of notes. And so Penny, it really comes down to you and your husband taking care of you first.
Yeah. So
mentally, emotionally, physically. And then also planning time for you and time for you and your husband together. But that's got to go on the calendar, Penny. Yeah. It's got to go on the calendar. It's not going to happen.
That's good. That's good.
Because before you know, it's going to be November and you're going to go, well, crap.
Yeah.
Time flies, right?
Yes.
Way to go. That's so exciting.
Yeah, thrilled.
You should fly to Edmonton and get Donna to do a super duper job on eyebrows or something.
Yes, and stay with Susan. Yay!
See, yeah, there you go. Road trip. Beautiful. What else? And I know some of you are on the phone here. Leslie's on the phone. Connie's on the phone. Welcome, all of you. So just jump in, even if you're there on audio. Donna Clark?
Yeah, I had a celebration, I guess. After the conference.
I'm sorry, I can't see you. You're losing so much weight. You're disappearing.
Yeah, right. Still a long way to go, but working on it.
Yes, you're doing great and you're looking great.
Great, thanks. I'm excited that I got my logo redone and my email signature I like it.
It looks awesome.
Ange also did like a Word template so that all my documents will be consistent. So
isn't she incredible?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's I really like working with her. So that's it really. And I've actually since I've been doing my blogs, my list has gone up quite a bit. I mean, it's still small compared to some, but
bigger compared to a year ago.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Beautiful. Congratulations. And you are looking fabulous. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Yeah. Who else? Let's get 2 more celebrations and we'll move into questions.
Nobody? Okay, I'll go.
Take it, Donna. I've told you guys before on my calls in the last few years, when there was silence, I had my whole list and I just kept going. I figured the call was just for me and I used it.
Exactly. So as many of you saw, I took foundations, and it's a type of energy work. It's called Access the Foundation, and it added to my toolkit of healing, emotional, physical, spiritual healing that I can do for people. And that was a 4-day. And tomorrow is actually another one called Energetic Facelift. So kind of perfect for me.
Yeah, that's super.
Yeah. So I did those, and 5 days off with those classes, May long weekend, and I'm still going to turn in at $5,000 for the month. So,
oh man, wait, you are so on your path. You are so on your path. When I was in Sedona, I stayed at this fabulous Airbnb, and the owners had a shop in Sedona. And very talented artist types. And anyway, they had like special rocks and crystals all around the house and were explaining things to me. And I thought about you the whole time. It was just a beautiful, welcoming environment. And they were just kind, gentle souls. And you are so on the right path. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So, and I've got 3 speaking opportunities that one's been accepted and I just have to get back to them to confirm. I believe it's going to be in October, and I had 2 new possibilities just show up in this last week. So
beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm going to reach out to them for those as well. So.
Beautiful. And I'll answer your question too as we come along to the questions. All right, let's get one more celebration, then we'll move right on in here and roll up our sleeves. Any of you on the phone, if you want to unmute, go ahead. Or if you're in situations where you can't talk, you're just listening, that's cool too. But post your questions in the forum if you want, because I'm monitoring that too through my phone. Anybody?
I just have a quick little addition to mine. While I was away, I received my first actual check for $97 for my program. Have the check in hand, and although I've signed up 4 people, I got my actual first check, so I'm really excited.
Sweet. Hey, and take a picture and frame it.
Yes.
I should always remember our first checks, always. I did that, and I framed it, and I put it beside the visual of the check I downloaded from, you remember back when The Secret came out? And there was a blank check and you could fill it in, and I filled mine in for $1 million and I put the date on it. So I put them beside each other on the wall in front of me. Very powerful visual.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's go into questions then. So for those of you who are right here with me, I'm going to start with you and then I'll go to the forum, although I think those of you who are with me are the ones who put them in the forum. So go ahead. Donna Clark, let's start with yours. You want me to just read it, Donna? Okay,
sure.
Go ahead. No, I know you're at work, right?
Yeah.
And you hardly have a voice.
Yeah.
All right, I got it. Let me handle it here. So you can listen and add to it. So for those of you who might not have seen Donna's question, it's about contacting people on your list. And this is important for all of you. Susan Binney as well, you had a similar question. So Donna's saying she's happy the list has doubled. And you know what the beautiful part, Donna? There are many people out there with a gazillion people on their list. And that's covers the last few years where people were buying lists or they were just adding bodies to their list. So they have the numbers, but they don't have the quality and they don't have the right people on their list. And so these are people who are not engaged. They're not ever going to buy. You have a quality list. You can build a $500,000 business with a list of 100 to 200 people. Some of my colleagues have done that. So it's about who's on your list.
Yeah.
So you're talking about sending things out once a week, and now you're wondering if you should call or email to check in and offer a complimentary call. No, that's kind of like going from the blind date and you want to hop right into going steady or getting engaged. That's not how relationships grow.
Right.
And so the other thing, I'm going down a rabbit trail again, there's so much I want to cram in today, is that Denise and I are going to be scheduling her training on building your funnel. And this is the piece that most of you are missing, so that you don't go from the blind date to the engagement. There are steps in between. So Donna, just for the sake of time today, so you know, they're on your list. And I know people aren't commenting yet because they're not going to. They're not going to until they get a sense of who are you? Are you out there climbing a mountain? Are you the kind of person that takes your mom out for dinner? They want to know, who are you? And so you've got to move through the dating process. So once they're on your list, and Susan Binney, this is for you too, you're wondering why people aren't responding. They don't know you. And they're getting inundated, particularly after an event. You go to an event, a 1 day, a 2 day, a 3 day, and you're one of many people presenting or sponsoring or participating in some way. Remember and recognize all these participants are getting lambasted when they leave that event. Everybody is sending them something. They have to learn how to be discerning and filter through all of that to get to what is of value to them. So for both of you, but Donna Clark in particular, what you want to start doing now is courting them. So for example, what I pulled out when I saw what you wrote there, I did my blog post 2 weeks ago on climbing that mountain in Sedona had the most comments and private messages ever, because people could feel my sweat and my tears. And so we had a lot of comments. Well, that's a first interaction, just like you. So the next thing we do is send them a copy of the postcard. Right? So if you have your tips or your IFO or a freebie of any kind, then send them something. So we'll send the PDF of the postcard. That's a next step. So you don't jump into a complimentary call until you really start a dialogue when people are responding. So where you send a postcard, that might generate maybe a 10% response. Because again, remember, people are overwhelmed. And particularly, you know, people like you and Leslie and Connie who are working full-time jobs and building a business on the side. You only have so much time for emails.
Yeah.
So always keep that in mind. You are not the top priority. So you've got to start a drip campaign, and Denise will teach on that. She's at a live event right now. But you've got to start a drip campaign. Start sending something that has content in it. So what I would do is send the postcard, for example, and then the next step would be, you know, that postcard that I sent you, step number 1 talked about identifying what you want. I would do a video clip, especially you, Donna Clark. Your videos are so amazing now. I would do a video clip and hold this and say, most of you have received this in the last email that I sent to you. I want to elaborate on step number 1, because once you have a clear sense of step number 1 and get a sense of what it's about, you can move to the next steps. Because I know from experience, many people will look at step number 1. On mine, for example, it says identify what you want. You don't have a clue what you want. And so you'll take this and go, that looks nice, and put it aside. So do a video clip. Come into them in person. Warm them up to you. And then I would say, perhaps, for those of you now who have a better understanding of step 1 or this article or this content, then I'm available for a complimentary call if you would like to have an overview of the next few steps. Click on the link, book a call with me, my gift to you.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be by mail then, because I don't have their mailing address. I just have their email address.
Yes, email's fine. Email's fine. Here's the key, though. Remember, it's the subject line that causes them to open it. So go back in your Wealth Makers workbook. I put a gazillion subject lines in there for all of you. And I've been watching some of your emails to see if anyone's using them, and you're not.
No. Okay.
And you're not. Go back to the workbook. That workbook is pure gold. Is Leslie still with me? It's pure gold. Go back to that workbook. The subject lines are the ones that work and cause people to open your email. That's where you've got a winning experience.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay. Susan Binney, did that answer your question?
In part it did.
Okay, what's the other part?
So I spoke at this event because there was only these 20 vendors. I had an opportunity to talk to all of them.
Yeah.
I gave them my card, etc. And I can't get them to answer a phone call. I can't get them to answer. Like I don't know how much is too much.
Well,
like,
it's never too much until they tell you to go away or they say yes.
Okay, so
right?
I could try and call them every day.
I wouldn't necessarily call them every day. You've got to create, because not everybody responds to a call. Not everybody responds to an email. Not everybody responds to a video. You've got to do a drip of a little bit of all of it for people to be able to find something they relate to. Then they will want to reach out to you. Now, one of the mistakes that you made was sending the opportunity to everybody.
Yes.
Big mistake. You took away the specialness of and that's why at events, I only offer 7 strategy calls. For the first 7, for those of you who are serious and interested, the first 7. How many of you saw the video from the conference I spoke at in Fort St. John of me selling my book at the back of the room? How many? Show of hands. That's the way that you get action. You limit it and you stay. And the others who came to me said, well, I'd like your book too. Well, you didn't act fast enough. You've got to keep the specialness to something. Remember, it's about them, not about you. They don't know you yet.
Okay.
That help?
Yeah. When I was writing that question to you, I'm like, okay, there's where I screwed up. I took the special out of it. So yeah, definitely. Perfect. Yeah, that helps tremendously. Okay, good. And I love the fact that you've tried something, it didn't work. All right, let's get back in the game and do it another way. Another way. And again, I mentioned to you, every piece of what was posted was strategic. I want to speak to that rush to the back of the room. I will tell you, they have never seen anything like that in Fort St. John. They've never seen anything like it. 250 people in the room, a lot of other speakers. And I told the organizer up front, she said to me 2 months ago, the way we have our event, we have everybody send their books to us in advance. We put them in the bookstore at the back of the room. And then when you speak, people will know and go buy your book. And I said, that's really lovely. However, my strategy is different. Here's the way I do it. And with your blessing, I would like to do it that way. She said, works for me. That sounds great. I said, okay. So when I did my speak to sell, 20 books, $20, meet me at the back of the room, the books were gone like that. But here's the thing, and I knew this was going to happen. During the break, all the other speakers came to me and they said, how did you do that? Because all their books are still sitting passively at the back of the room. That's passive marketing. They're expecting people to just go look and love their book when it's sitting there among the others that were brought in, like Jack Canfield and so on. Why are they going to pick your book? So you need to make sure you're speaking to the right people, the right time, the right place, a call to action, and get them going. So I now have strategy calls lined up with all the other speakers.
Oh,
because they want to learn how to do what I sold all my books. I walked out with cash and they're packing their boxes to carry their books home. So it's all strategy. And again, everything I posted was for all of you to see specifically and strategically. Okay, what else? Was there another question in the forum? Let me see. We got Donna's. Oh, Donna Erickson. Susan Binney, I've got yours. Okay, Donna Erickson, talk to me about your speaking engagement opportunities. That way I can zero in and help make sense.
Okay, so the one that I was thinking of when I posted this, I did find out, so what is it? Create your careers, or building your careers. Mm-hmm. is what the program's called. From what I understand, it is, the audience is going to be people who've experienced domestic violence. Okay. So I take it that they're trying to rebuild their lives and build a career and stuff. So
okay.
So I did ask who the audience was. It is a paid speaking spot, just nominal fee for speaking.
Yeah, they're paying you though, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So apparently it's what she called it, a lunch and learn style.
Okay.
And they're filling 6 to 8 spots once a week over the next 8 weeks.
Oh, okay. So it's a series that they're offering.
Yeah.
Okay, and
so I imagine that it's, different people sitting in. It's not going to be the same people every week, but yeah.
Might be though if it's a series and if the topic is compelling for them. Okay, so you want to know the questions I would ask if I got that kind of phone call.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I would say is, first of all, is this the first time you're running this event?
Right, I forgot that one. Okay.
Yeah, and here's the reason for that question. If it's the first time and you say to them, how many people do you expect? They're going to say, oh, we're expecting 400 people. God bless you.
Exactly.
Because like anyone, we're excited about our first event. We have big projections and so on. Right, Susan Binney, like the event you were at?
Yeah.
And so if it's their first event, they have no guarantee on how many people are coming. So you ask them for their best guesstimate.
Yeah.
If it's not their first event, if they've done it before, then find out how many people on average came to the event. And if it's a lunch and learn, how many stayed? Here's the key. How many stayed for the presentation? Some just come for the free lunch.
Yeah.
Or for the networking or for whatever other reason. Now, are they paying to come?
Forgot to ask that too. Okay.
Here's the other reason. If and when people are paying to come into an event, they're more than likely going to stay. If this is a government-sponsored event or a corporate-sponsored event, and they get a free ticket, first of all, they might not even show up. But secondly, they might not even stay. Thirdly, if they are paying for their own ticket and you have something that you get to promote or sell, they've already put out money, so you know you have a buying audience.
Yes, that's right.
So you know that it's a different mindset in the room.
Yeah.
So those are some of the questions right out of the gate. Then yes, do you have a budget? Are you paying your speakers?
Yeah.
So you've got that already wrapped up. And then you want to make sure that you have a contract that you send to them and that you establish your payment terms. So for me, in my speaking engagements, the minute they book me, it's 50% non-refundable deposit. And I explain to them, the reason I do that is I'm putting the date on my calendar, and that is now a non-revenue date for me otherwise. And then it's 50%, it's 50% the day I arrive.
Yeah.
So even before I go on stage, I'm paid.
Okay.
And then make it easy for them to pay you.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Got that all wrapped up.
All right. Way to go. I love that about you. Perfect. Okay. So those are some of the technicalities. Now, around the event, if there's 5 or 6 or 7 lunch and learns, where are you in the scheduling?
Right. Yes.
So that's a key question. And who else is speaking? What other topics are being covered? So you want to know if you're third, say, out of a series of 8 lunch and learns, if you're third, who's gone before you? Who's coming after you? So that you can then weave a thread through it all and position yourself as unique because you've done your homework.
Yes, exactly.
How much time do you have? Ask them that. How much time do I have?
So it was initially put out that it would be 2 hours.
And then?
And then I asked it. I said, okay, I'm confirming that this is a 2-hour speaking spot. And the answer was, well, if you only need an hour, I can partner you up with somebody in that second hour so that you can share the time slot.
The answer is no to that because I would want to be the one and only.
Yeah.
And so again, remember, those of you who took my speaking workshop, remember now the need that you need a 60-minute, a 20-minute, right, Susan Binney?
Yep.
You need to be able to either blow it out or narrow it down because seriously, a 2-hour lunch and learn?
I know, that sounds weird to me, doesn't it?
Well, it's very weird to me. And
how can it be lunch and learn with 6 to 8 spots? That's a full day.
Is the 6 to 8 spots for the one?
Yeah.
I thought you meant over a series of weeks.
No, she wrote back 6 to 8 spots once a week over 8 weeks.
So you...
I know.
Yeah, well, that doesn't...
That's a full damn day.
Yeah, it is. You need to get back on the phone and say, help me understand.
Yeah.
Help me understand. And so if it's a case that there's 6 to 8 people in the one lunch and learn of which you're a part, the same question, just in a different sense. Who are the other speakers? When am I scheduled to go on?
Yeah.
And you know my style, Donna. I always go first.
Yeah.
Because the others likely are not trained speakers. They have no sense of timing. They have no sense of professional responsibility, and they will inevitably go over your time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
always go first and always be the respectful one. So when I spoke in Fort St. John, and I knew there was no break after my speaking, which I had asked for, but when I saw the schedule, they didn't put a break in. They put another speaker right away. So I contacted them and I said, all right, I was booked for an hour, but because of the way I promote my book from the stage, which means I'm leaving the stage, I'm pulling from your audience, I'm going to speak for 45 minutes. I will take 10 minutes at the back of the room because I knew that's all it took. That gives 5 minutes for everyone to get back in, settle down, and out of respect for the next speaker.
Yeah.
I got so much positive feedback on the way I modeled that: professionalism, courtesy, respect. So be first. Get yourself positioned first.
Yeah. With this particular person, I always ask to be first. So.
Okay. Who's hosting this? Do I know this person?
I don't know if this organization is hosting it or if it was so vague. These emails that I'm getting from her are so vague. I even asked in response, when she put out the call for speakers, and I responded. I asked by saying, am I going to be able to promote? I didn't call it sell from the stage because I don't know if she knows that terminology, but
no, they wouldn't. So here's the thing, Donna. When something is that vague, first of all, is this the ideal place for you? Secondly, the audience might be. Maybe the organizer is just the one that's a little wacko.
Yeah.
So in which case, you need to come up with your own questionnaire. Instead of the emails back and forth, create a questionnaire with all these questions and send it off. And if there's any confusion, say, I'm happy to hop on the phone and walk through this with you.
Okay.
Make it easy for everybody.
Okay.
Okay, so back to the questions then. Always find out first event or non-first event. How many people, are they paying for their own registration or not? That helps you understand if they're a paying audience. How much time do I have? What is the setup of the room? Is it theater style? Is it round table style? Is there a microphone? Is there a stage? Or even an elevated section in the front of the room? Find out the dynamics in the environment. Is this being videotaped? And can I sell something?
Yeah.
Are the others selling anything? Because here's the thing, if you don't get positioned first and others are selling, remember, people only have so much money in their wallet.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why I like to go first. Yeah. And so, and then you need to know on the timing and whether or not there's handouts. Are you doing a handout? You got to figure all that out too. And if you're doing a handout, do you want it placed in the chair before you speak? Do you want it just handed out as you speak? Do you want it only to be given after you speak? You need to determine all that, and you need to dictate and guide that.
Yeah. For a length of time like that, do you recommend having some sort of handout, something that they can look at and kind of follow along?
Well, you know what I do with that sense, because I never use PowerPoint in that scenario. They don't have the right equipment, you can't trust it, and so on. So what I would do, if you're using a handout, let me use the postcard as an example.
Yeah.
What I would do is have another version of the postcard created so that step number 1, it says identify what you want. What I would put is identify what you, and then just put a blank with a line.
Right.
So that they need to pay attention to get the complete sentence from you.
Yeah.
So number 2 is to be clear, concise, and write it down. I would put B blank blank and write it down. So you mix it up a bit so that they don't get in the habit of waiting for the end of the sentence. Number 4, which is take risks, I might just put number 4 and a line, leave it blank. So mix it up. But that way you're going to get them engaged. That's their handout. They've written, and they have something to take away with your contact information on it.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen you do that. So. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
It works beautifully. Does that help?
Perfect. Thank you. Good reminders.
Yeah, absolutely. And go back to your notes from the speaking workshop.
Yes.
Go back to your binder. It'll be in there.
Yeah, got to pull that up. So thank you.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? The information is really of no value or relevant until you're in the situation.
Yeah.
So now that you know, and now that you're in it, go back and pull that, and it'll help make sense.
Yeah.
And then if you still have any questions, or if you're drafting that questionnaire, put it in the forum. So I'll help you fine tune it, but it'll also help the others see what you're doing and how you're doing it. And it'll benefit others. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Who else? I don't see any of the questions in the forum.
Can I ask a quick question?
I have a question, Pat.
Katie, then Susan, Benny.
Okay, so this just happened to me, and I had to kind of laugh. But what's going on is I'm negotiating a VIP day with a client,
Yeah.
and I sent the contract over, and she rewrote it and sent it back to me.
Way to take charge.
There was, so
That's something I would do.
I just yeah, and so I'm curious how to handle this.
Well, what were the changes? Were they reasonable?
I haven't. Well, the change was mostly to the payment terms. Actually, only to the payment terms. I want to be paid in full 2 business days in advance, and she doesn't want to pay until after the VIP session is done.
Oh, that's a no. That's a no. Nobody ever leaves a room
Yeah.
with my intellectual property without me having received payment. No. I would meet sort of in the middle and say I would accept payment up to 24 hours in advance. You've cut out, Katie. I think you froze on us. But there's the answer for you anyway. Yeah, I would accept payment up to 24 hours in advance.
Sorry, I heard you say up to 24 hours in advance. Okay.
Yeah, but absolutely never beyond that. Nope. And you know what? What I would do in that instance is I'd hop on the phone. That's my thing. I hop on the phone.
Yeah.
Say, let's review this together and let me help you understand my position on this.
Yeah.
Because once they have your intellectual property, you've got no recourse.
Right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I hadn't responded yet. It just happened.
Yeah.
And I would just, I got to hand it to her for asking for what she wanted, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, totally interesting. And you know what? I applaud that. It's like, great. At least you know they're reading the contract.
Exactly.
See, and those are the kind of people you want to do business
All right,
with.
thanks, Pat.
Yeah, exactly. And then again, be the differentiator in the market, Katie. Pick up the phone. Because it might be some simple little reason that she's doing that. Pick up the phone. Say, hey, got your contract back. Thought it would be easier to pick up the phone. Let's talk through this. That's what I would do. All right, what else? You froze again, Katie. You're frozen.
So I had a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
In regards to the speaking spot. So first, which I knew, which I got, and thank goodness, because nobody listened to the second speaker because it was very similar.
Yeah.
If you're not selling something, are you okay to go first and or last? Because somebody mentioned to me that if you're the first in their mind, they'll remember it. And if you're the last in their mind, they'll remember it. Just wondering.
Well, depending on the scheduling of the event, Susan. So first of all, I never go last, period, for many reasons. 1, people won't stay right through to the end. 2, they've spent a lot of their money already. 3, they're overwhelmed with information and content. I mean, I could go on and on. So I will never go last, never. And when you do go last, as Larry Wingett always says, the only focus you should have when you go last is to leave them laughing, because that's all they want at that point. Okay. And I'm not an entertainer. So I'm not about creating something that leaves people in a state of laughter. I can be funny and humorous, but I'm not an entertainer or a comedian. And he says at the end of anything, that's all people want, is to laugh. So I would just scrap that whole concept of going last. And I always go first, because if it's a 1-day event, a half-day event, a 3-day event, going first and make sure you're around. So I spoke at Fort St. John. I was around. I was visible during the breaks, at lunch. I was around. And people know who you are. And that's when they'll come and talk to you, because a lot of people, they won't even potentially have eye contact when you're speaking, depending on your topic. But once you've spoken and then you're around for the duration, you're going to get far more engagement that way.
Perfect.
And I'm always selling. I don't know what you're talking about when you say whether or not I'm selling. I'm always selling.
Yeah,
I'm always seeding, and I'm always selling.
Yeah.
Whether it's a reference to my website, or whether it's a complimentary strategy call, or it's a hardcore book, or I am always selling, seeding and selling, always.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. What else? This is fun. And Connie and Leslie and the rest of you who are on the phone and at work, first of all, thank you so much for making the effort from your workplace to be with me. Put your questions in the forum, because I'm happy to answer them, and I'm monitoring them here as we go along. But as I check the forum again, who else here live has a question?
I had one question, just about my videos each week. Is it okay to do them, like usually I try and base them on video tips, but should I, like you were saying, be more personal? Should I be doing like videos that aren't really technically about video, or?
Well, there's so many angles you can come from, Donna. And, you know, I would come from, I was just talking to somebody yesterday who, it's so funny, I love language, you know that, right? And she says, I know I have to do video. And I said, well, no, you don't. And she says, oh, well, that's the only question I had. I said, then the call's over. But I was just kidding her. I said, no, you don't have to do video. I encourage you to do video. And so I was suggesting to her, so my point is that you may want to come from the mindset part of it. There's so many people who have the fear of doing it. And you know and understand, you were there yourself. Yeah. So why don't you also break it down? I mean, you can certainly use the whole strategy of mindset and the marketing, and then the technicality and the timing. And if I were you, Donna, I would just sit down and write out a whole bunch of umbrella themes, if you will. And I wanted to talk today especially about seasonal activities, because for many of you right now, whether we're going from interior design to pedicures and feet care to videos to I don't care what, we're heading into another season in the year. And there is an opportunity for all of you to create some kind of special, a seasonal special. And so be thinking about this. And for you, Donna, I thought about you a lot. I was up on top of the mountain in Sedona, and I'm doing my video, and people are coming over to me going, what are you doing? I'm doing video. Up here? Like, up here? I went, yeah, push record. And they were shocked. They never even thought of it. And then people were off doing their own videos in the corner. So you can talk about where you can do video, when you can do video, because family reunions are coming up, weddings are happening, all kinds of graduations are happening. So it doesn't have to be technicality, but you may want to approach it from right now of 3 reasons why you would want to capture this memory on video.
Okay.
Or 3 ways to get over the fear of doing your first video. And just give people simple steps. You might want to do a series. Let's get past the fear of actually the self-fear and the negative self-talk. Let's move to the fear of actually holding this in your hand and how you do it, and through to the fear of, oh, what are people going to think? That's one of the biggest fears. Yeah, I'll do it, but what are people going to think? And what if I'm not good enough? What if I don't look good enough? And blah, 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 blah. So many different angles that you can come from.
Okay, great.
And this is your opportunity, Donna Clark, to really be authentic and to come from the heart and say, I'm in the video field. And I, too, had a fear of turning the camera around on me. And here's how I overcame it. And seriously, if I can, you can, too. And maybe it means you go buy a pair of new funky glasses that make you feel good.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So keep it simple like that. But crank them out. Crank them out. I'm expecting to see a lot more video from you right now.
Okay.
In fact, I expect it from all of you. I really do. I'm going to put a video challenge in the forum for the month of June and have a really super prize for it.
Oh.
I know. We're going to have some fun with this. June is a month of fun for me as far as I'm concerned. And I talked to Noma this morning, you know, the MC gal from South Africa, Donna?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's been struggling getting her YouTube videos edited and up, and I've been harassing her to do that because that's her main marketing.
Right.
methodology. So I told her to get in the forum and connect with you, and that you could help her do that. And 10% of the time it would take her.
Sure.
So get some videos out there.
Okay.
Penny, were you about to say something?
No, I just love that idea that what you said. I'm excited about the video. I've been procrastinating about getting.
Donna, there's a tip for you.
I have a list of things I could talk about, but I'm just like, I'm so worried about it being perfect or not perfect.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's also one of the reasons I want to do these meetings on Zoom now. I want you to get comfortable with the technology, get comfortable seeing yourself, look at how you look in the videos, check your background, take a look at what's there. And yeah, I know. And get used to how you look and and positioning, whether you're like this or like that, and, play around with it. But these monthly calls are going to be very helpful to you.
Perfect.
What else? Oh, I hear ding dong.
Sorry, that was me. I actually started 2 days ago a Facebook Live challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing 30 days on Facebook Live and maximum 2 minutes. So it's going to challenge my timing and challenge everything. And if anybody's interested in following it, please do. Any tips would be wonderful. And by the end of it, I'm going to have
what?
I know. Sorry. At the end of it, I'm going to have the whole sales thing down about my program. So I love you, but stop it.
Hey, here's the funny thing. Denise, I mentioned to you, she's at a live event right now. She texted me this morning because remember she was at a retreat, right? She texted me this morning and she said, the speaker on the stage right now is saying every other word and I can't take it anymore. And it's once you become aware of that, it is so annoying. So I don't want any of you to be that speaker, especially on your videos. You're doing a 2-minute video, make every word count. And what I would suggest to you as we head into this fun activity is that, Penny, for you especially, why don't you just get started today or tomorrow and start playing, just post it in the forum and just say, hey, I'm doing this to have practice. I really have nothing to say other than I'm doing this to get practice and to see how I look and get feedback and whatever. But just get in the habit. That's the key thing. So let me talk about my trip then, because we've got 10 minutes left. And I want to help you understand, first of all, how that whole trip came together. There were 2 or 3 key items that triggered the whole month on the road. Now, do I get excited about a month on the road anymore with, I don't know how many stops I had, 10 stops? It's exhausting. And I'll tell you, my biceps my suitcase was at 49 pounds and under, because you have to pay for 50 more. So 49 pounds under. So this arm really got a workout. And so there were 3 major activities that were scheduled that I really wanted to be at. And so I was not going to come back and forth across the country. First of all, I'm too old for that. I'm not interested in full day on the plane there, full day on the plane back, the time zone switch constantly. And so I started to plug in. And as I had mentioned earlier, I reached out to Leslie Bohm when I knew I would be near her in California. And so it's a way of maintaining relationships. It's all about relationships. So once we had the key dates plugged in, Fort St. John Conference, of course, was a key. This was a phenomenal conference, my ideal audience, and you saw some of the results. I had a coaching session with Larry Wingett, and then I was in the mastermind with Larry Wingett. So there were some key things that I was absolutely not going to miss. So also, I think many of you saw that Heather Reed was receiving a very prestigious award in her industry. And aside from the fact that I wanted and needed to be at that Smart Woman Summit in Denver, I was encouraging her. I nominated her. She won 1 in 4 Canadians to win this award in her industry in North America. And then I encouraged her, and I'm teaching all of you. She said, well, I don't think I'll fly to Denver just for the day. And I said, oh, yes, you will. Yes, you will. You will be on that stage. You will get videotaped. You will get photographed, and you will use that in your marketing. So yes, you will fly to Denver for the day. And I'll be right there to cheer you on too. And I took so many pictures for her because when you're in the moment, you're not going to stop and do a selfie all the time. So it started in Denver at an event called the Smart Women Summit. Now, here's what it was about, and here's why I was there. And this is for you to start doing your research. This meeting was for the senior event planners in North America. Not for speakers. It was for the event planners. But who books speakers? Event planners. So why wouldn't I be there and get known? And so I showed up. I contacted the organizer first, and I said, how many speakers come to this? She said, oh, speakers don't come. I said, okay, well, I'll be there. And so I introduced myself to her first and said, I'll be there. Here's why I'm coming. This reason, this reason, this reason. And of course, to support Heather. So by the time I got there, she was looking for me and I was looking for her. And you can bet that I made myself known with the senior event planners who needed to know who I was, what I was about, and so on. So that's a strategy I want you to be thinking about. When we talk about networking, position yourself where you get the business. I position myself with the people who can book me. So start doing your homework on that kind of thing, and talk to Susan Beebe about this too. It was a very smart strategy on my part. I'm now booked as their keynote speaker for the Smart Women Summit for 2018. I got confirmation of that last week. Ta-da, check. From there, I went up to Sook, BC, British Columbia, because I'm on the West Coast. So I went up and to visit my niece, who I adore. And also it happened that my sister-in-law and brother-in-law were visiting, her parents, my ex-husband's brother. And she is in serious stages of cancer. And so that was a personal thing for me. They live in Sherwood Park, actually, Donna, but they happened to be there. And so that was like a twofer. So I went up there for a few days. I'd never been there. So I could treat my niece to high tea at the Empress Hotel. And I just made it a real memorable experience for her. But really, it was kind of a farewell with my sister-in-law. So that was important to me, not in my scheduled line of life, if you will. So from Sook, then I went down to Seattle, I think. Yeah, I went to Seattle. And that's where I spent time with my 93, almost 94-year-old mentor. I have been after her for a year and a half to get on her calendar. A year and a half before she had time for me. And then she emailed me and she said, well, I've cleared my calendar. I have the afternoon of May 3rd or May 4th available if you would like to fit that into your travels. I went, yeah, I'll take it. And then she actually cleared a whole day for me. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is I want all of you to turn around and look around. Who are the mentors in your life? Not just coaches. There's a difference. She's not my coach. She's my cheerleader. She's my supporter. She believes in me no matter what. She was assigned to me as a mentor in 1990 when I first joined the Pacific Institute. Lou Tice assigned her to me as my mentor. We've stayed friends. And she's my biggest cheerleader, and she's the last elder in my circle. Who are the elders in your circle? And what effort are you making to spend time with them? I told her I would fly across the country for a half a day with her, and I would. She's 94, almost. And so we spent a fair bit of time together, and as we were in her aging in place community near Seattle, she had prepared for my visit. And there were 4 people in particular she wanted me to meet. One, her name was Kathy. She's the events coordinator for the whole community. She's a retired astronaut. So Joe Love wanted me to meet this woman. The other one was her hairdresser. The number one, he's retired, the number one trapeze artist in North America. She wanted me to sit and have a conversation with him about the whole daredevil mindset and being in a unique industry and so on and so forth. The third one was a woman who just wrote a book. Her book had just come in, and it's called From the Convent to the Catwalk. And they gave me a copy of the book because Joe Love actually wants me to help her market the book. Anyway, the purpose of meeting with her is, one, she's been my mentor since 1990. I wanted to sit and be with her. Number 2, she's almost 94. Number 3, she's a smart woman and she's very well connected. Number 4, she's my inspiration because the reason she had a hard time fitting me in is she teaches Spanish 3 times a week at the retirement community. She just had both knees replaced so she could keep tap dancing twice a week. She runs the TV station for the whole community. She writes the newsletter every week. She takes healthy mind and body training workshops every Saturday morning. And so she's just a busy woman. She climbs Mount Rainier twice a year, and she takes 2 cruises a year. So she said to me, when I got there, when I first visited her, they lived in a condo house. And then she had her knees replaced. And then because of age, they've moved to an apartment. And she said they made a pact when they got to the apartment that they would never use the elevator. She said the key to success is keeping your mind healthy and your body moving. And I'll tell you, from that trip, everywhere I went on that trip after, I did not use an elevator once because of her inspiration. I'm thinking, she's not using it, I'm not using it. I have no excuses. So to be around that kind of mindset, that energy, that wisdom, that enthusiasm is really invigorating, and it's encouraging. And she said to me, for crying out loud, you're only 65. Well, I gotta tell you, I loved hearing that all day. You're only 65. You got a lot of time. So I want you to think about her story for a number of reasons. Who are the elders? What effort are you making to be with them? What lessons are you learning? Who are you mentoring and inspiring? And what can you learn from them that you can incorporate into your daily life? Like for me, no more elevators. Seriously. And she said, you've got to keep your body in shape with the way you're traveling. She follows me on Facebook. And so she contacted me in advance and she said, I follow you on Facebook. I know what you're doing. And I want to do a Facebook video thing. She didn't know what to call it, Facebook Live. If you did not watch that interview, I encourage you to go do that and pay attention. She did her homework. She had 4 pages of notes on mentoring. All I had to say to her was look up here in the camera and go. And she did. That woman gets up every day, full hair, makeup, jewelry, nails. She is the image of success, inside and out. So from there, so take some notes on some of this. From there, let me see, from Seattle, I went to Santa Rosa to be with my colleague, Linda Claire Puig. Now, Linda's business is called Swap Your Office. What she does is she travels the world. She'll go somewhere. We went to Rome together 2 years ago. She went there and did all the homework and research necessary to set up home office opportunities for any of you who decide, I want to go to Rome and work for a month, work and play. She puts an operations manual together, everything from transit to Wi-Fi to accommodation, all of that. And then you would connect with her and go, I'd like to go to Argentina for a month. She has a manual on how you can just do that. So I was with her in Argentina for a month, and now we're going to Australia together. So she and I have put our heads together. We've got a few more interesting plans coming up. Again, the lesson, who in your community can you collaborate with to maybe get out of your box, zag a little bit instead of zigging, zag a little bit. But it needs to be someone you know, like, and trust, somebody who has a success track record, who's not just going to suck your brains out, and somebody who has similar values. And Linda and I have that. In fact, I love Santa Rosa so much, I asked her if she'd marry me so I could stay. She said, no, I'm going to marry you so I can go to Canada because I like Trudeau better. But those are the important factors. So who in your community could be that collaborator with you, and what do you bring to the party? My point again is Linda and I have been in a mastermind. We met each other 5 years ago, I think, in Suzanne's mastermind. We've nurtured the relationship. It doesn't happen overnight. So start to develop some of those relationships. From there, I went to Phoenix, and that's where I had my session with Larry. He's my speaker coach, if you don't know that by now. And then I had my session with Larry, and then we were in a mastermind meeting with 17 other businesses, from Mark Stoner, who's the #1 chimney sweep business in North America, chimney sweep. He was just featured on Blue Collar Millionaires on CNBC. He has a great book out. A real diverse group of people. I learned a lot in that room. I was the only speaker coach in all of those businesses. I love that. So that was very, for my business, to grow my business. So from Phoenix, I went to Sedona for the weekend because I wanted to play and I didn't want to fly home again because I still had to be on the West Coast. So I went to Sedona. And that's where I really stretched myself. If you didn't see that video blog, I climbed that darn mountain and I was crying half the way and I was afraid and I couldn't figure out some of the holds. And I also watched other people bailing, not even halfway up. It's too hard. It's too hot. I'm afraid. I can't do it. I listened to all that self-talk. What's the mountain in your future? What is it that you want to accomplish that maybe is scaring you right now? I'm just looking in the chat here. Okay, Donna's gone back to work. Great. What is it that you're afraid to do, but you want to go out and do it? I was by myself when I went there, so I could easily have bailed. Nobody would have known, and nobody knew what my plans were. I did this for me. But I'll tell you, when I got to the top of that mountain, it's like I tell you in business, it's crowded at the bottom. It's the same in business. It's crowded at the bottom. People are going to fall away. People are going to drop off. People are going to say it's too hard. I'm afraid. And then when I looked up and I saw the people who were up there and I saw the blue sky and I saw where I wanted to be, and the one guy said to me, you just get up here and you're going to have a 360 view. You won't have that view where you are. And he reached out his hand and he said, can I help you? And I said, yes, I need help. Take these as business lessons. You among the Mavericks. I'm talking to all of you. Business is hard, but what's your view? What's your why? How bad do you want it? You're going to cry. I cried. I didn't care. I didn't care. I kept my eye on the vision. And if you saw my pictures, I was so proud to be up there and share a panoramic view because I made it to the top. And I learned a lot about myself, and I've stretched myself for more goals. What's your mountain? Do not be the maverick who gets scared, who lets the tears and the fears cause you to fall away. Stick with Susan, Beebe, and myself. Stay with us. Reach out. Let us know. Ask for help. We're here for you. So from Sedona, then I went up to Fort St. John. Well, I've told you about that experience. So I positioned myself in advance of the conference to tell the organizer, here's how I do things. With all due respect, will this fit in your schedule? I will be respectful of the next speaker. Trust me. And then you better follow through and pay attention to your time. I hired a makeup artist. I hired a hairstylist. That was the other thing. The other speakers came up to me and went, oh my gosh. Because obviously I looked different on day 2 with the false eyelashes and everything. And again, they commented and they said, we never thought of doing that. I hired a videographer. They never thought of doing that. So be different. Be the one who stands out. And Donna Erickson, don't be afraid to step up and say, well, here's how I do this. Would this be acceptable to you? And I promise and I trust to stay within the parameters of what you have set up, because I'm a professional. And then trust and know, like in my instance, I have a lot of follow-up calls to do today with those people, including sending thank you cards to people. I've got their pictures, so we're doing send out cards with a special note from me. So that was Fort St. John, and then I went and played in the mountains. And I got to visit my 45-year best friend, my best friend of 45 years, who some of you know, in the fall, she was traveling on business. She was in Grand Prairie, which is up here, and she lives down here in Canmore. It was a Friday. She had a headache, turned into a brain bleed, a stroke, 3 heart attacks, 2 airlifts, paralyzed from the neck down. Her life changed like that. And I have spent time with her, and she keeps saying to me, which I will keep saying to you, because she said, we never think it's going to happen to us. Her life changed in a nanosecond. I've had conversations with her, and when I saw her on Saturday, she blew me away. She just got her driver's license back. She's no longer walking with a cane. She has done her therapy. She's no longer an outpatient. She has accomplished in 8 months what other doctors have said takes 18 to 24 months, if ever. She has taken charge of her life. And that's my message to you. That was her message to me. So that's why I went and played in Sedona. That's why I went and played in the Rockies. That's why I'm going to the cottage for 2 weeks in June. Yes, I'll continue to grow my business. Yes, I have a most amazing team who support me and ensure that all of you are served in the way that we committed to you. So over the course of the month, can you see all those lessons that I had, how I positioned myself, how I asked for what I wanted, how I stretched myself, how I immersed myself in the mastermind, how I positioned myself as unique at the conference? Every piece of this month was strategic. Every picture was strategic. I'll tell you one of the other things that surprised some people. When I sat on that stone up in Sedona, I mapped out my life for the 70s. For my 70s, 70 to 80. Oh yeah, I forgot about Darren Jacklin in Vancouver. What a powerhouse. What a powerhouse. He could be my son. He's so amazing, talk the same language. So Darren and I talk regularly, and I mapped out my life for the 70s, and my aspiration is to be a travel and food blogger. And so I post pictures and places regularly, and then I post it to TripAdvisor, and I'm growing my readership. And right now I'm at 52,000 readers. My goal at the end of this year is 100,000. And by the time I turn 70, I'm 65 right now. By the time I turn 70, I want to have a list of 500,000, and I want to get a corporate sponsor for my travels. That was the month of May for me. I am no different than you. I am no different. Take any aspect of that trip and take it to heart where it fits for you, whether it's spending time with your best friend, whether it's making time for a mentor or finding one, whether it's positioning yourself unique as a speaker, whether it's fully immersing yourself in your mastermind. I mean, take any aspect of the month. You don't have to copy everything I've done, but think about what I've done and what fits for you, because if I can do it, you can do it. There's nothing magic or special about me. It's all up here. It's all up here. It's on my wall calendar. It's on my vision board, and it's on my goals that I write every day. The key is staying healthy. And my girlfriend will tell you that. Without your health, you're screwed. So I am, for those of you who have renewed, we've got the health program running. I'll be doing a live stream for you next week, and I have special guests lined up, great content lined up, because it's all about health first. So there you go. Any last comments, questions, observations? I've gone over time. I apologize, but I felt it was important to share all that, because I choose to be and continue to be your inspiration and encourager. What you got?
I just want to say thank you for sharing your trip. It is a huge inspiration. And so for the last month, I keep my clients or people I'm seeing on Facebook, any of the Mavericks, I am noticing, shit, man, they've got life the way they want. Mm-hmm. You know, what do I want? That seems to be the big question in my face.
Yeah.
And for you to have that dream of doing what you want to do in the 70s.
Mm-hmm. And I planned my 100th birthday party too.
Oh, God.
Because I promised my mentor I would.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Don't stop, please.
No, seriously, I got a lot of living to do. And each and every one of you do too. We only have today. Remember the words of Katie, my best friend. You only have today. She said to me, her number one goal when she was paralyzed from the neck down was to get out of that bed and wipe her own butt. No, so she said, your goals don't have to be lofty. They don't have to be dramatic. Right? She said, I wanted to wipe my own butt.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. And she said, you should be grateful that you get to walk out and go order your own Starbucks every day. That used to be our connection. She said, I can't do that. Well, she couldn't, but she can now because she wanted to. That's why I took the picture in Starbucks of her and I. That was one of her goals. So first was to wipe her butt. Then was to get in the wheelchair by herself. Like, she had her goals every day. She would call me every day in tears. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm not listening to the doctors. They told me I can't. They told me I'm going too fast. Too fast for whom? It's my butt.
Yeah.
So when you think about those basics. So in the month of June, what I want us all to focus on is, what do you want? What do you want? And there's nothing too big or weird or wacky or impossible. What do you want?
That's
Think
beautiful,
about that.
Pat. I'm gonna plan my 100th birthday because that's beautiful.
Yeah. Here's the other sheet I have. Darren and
On
I
your-
create this. Sorry, I just wanted to show you this. This is my top personal promises for 2017. Darren and I don't call them goals because goals you can bypass. We call them personal promises because one thing you need to learn is keep the power of your word to yourself. So we put our picture on it. We put that. And we put our top 10 personal promises on there for 2017, and we hold each other accountable, and we have fun with it. Yeah. Hey, Susan Beebe and I are here to help you with this. You don't need to always be talking to her about revenue goals. You don't need to come to this call about marketing or networking. I want you to live your best life. I want the business to support your lifestyle. And that's why I shared the last month with you. And you don't need to leave town to go do it. I know where all of you live. You're all in beautiful places. You can just hop in your car and go sit on a rock somewhere or sit by some water somewhere, right? You don't need to go to Sedona, but set a goal to go to Sedona or somewhere. You need to decide, but you have the power. Listen, if Katie from Paralyzed from the Neck Down can wipe her butt, what can you do? She's going to be able to laugh when I tell her that this is how I ended the call. Hey, Katie, you were the highlight of the ending. But seriously, what can you do? What do you want? Let me help you. Let me continue to inspire you. Are we good?
I have one quick question, Pat.
Yep.
So based on what you just said and how much you've moved me yet again. Yesterday, as I was in the airport for my 36 hours to get home, I decided that keeping healthy and staying healthy and keeping active has to happen so that I can survive that if it ever happens again.
Yep.
And I would like you to consider, you don't have to answer me, but I would like you to reconsider the verbal commitment I made to you and then wasn't able to follow through, because I would like to do that and stay healthy and be up on top of the mountain in Sedona and plan my 100th birthday. And you inspire me. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome, and I'm happy to inspire, but here's the lesson you've got to learn from me and Katie. I take action, and I commit to the power of my word. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Many of you in the Mavericks, you'll say something and then you back out. That's not going to get you to your dreams. You've got to get out of the habit of giving yourself the out. I'm not chasing any of you. I am not. I don't need your money. I don't want your money. I want you to live your best life. That's what the work I'm doing. So when you say you're going to do something, do it. That's my best piece of advice for you. Now, know and remember, I've said this before too, there's only 10 to 20% of the population who will set the goals and dreams and who will follow through, because it's hard work. It takes tears. It can be hard. It can be lonely, all of that. But you've got Susan Beebe and I, and you've got the guest experts, which, as Leslie said the other day, none of you are accessing. That's a crime. That's a slap in the face to me for bringing these people to you. You have got everything at your fingertips. But here's the thing, Penny, it kind of goes back to what you said. None of that matters if you haven't figured out what you want. It doesn't matter. I can put all the resources at your feet, but if you don't know what you want and how bad you want it, and thirdly, holding the power of your word to yourself, like I said, I went and climbed that mountain by myself. The others they were in groups and they had tour guides, and I went there determined. Now I knew there'd be other people there and I wasn't totally by myself. I knew that, and that's fine. But I went and I did not give myself an out. I should have taken some of the funny pictures because I had this big suitcase. I didn't have a backpack with me, which I might have had normally. So I had 2 bottles of water stuffed in my bra. That's the only place I could put it so I could climb. I had the car keys shoved down the middle of my bra, and I had Kleenex stuff. I was really quite a circus, a one-man circus. But I did it because I didn't care what other people said. I didn't care how I looked. Penny, videos, I didn't care. I had my eye on the vision. So I invite you, come with me. Come with me. And that's what we'll do in June. Deal?
Deal.
All right. Love you all. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the forum, okay?
Okay.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Pat.
Go make it your best day.